Welcome to Core Questions, a podcast from the British Geological Survey. I'm Penny and I work in the comms team.
And I'm Rose and I work with the public engagement team. And today we are chatting to Pauline Smedley, who's a hydrogeochemist here at BGS. And she's going to be answering today's core question, which is, where in the UK has the best tasting groundwater?
Definitely the north.
Definitely the north.
Okay, I'm Pauline Smedley. I'm a hydrogeochemist.
So I guess if we start on a very basic level, we all drink water every day. We all know what water is in terms of something that comes from the tap, but what actually is water and what's the importance of it?
In simple, very simple terms, it's a compound made of hydrogen and oxygen, and it's a very good solvent. It dissolves minerals, it dissolves chemicals very well. And so it's important we all need to drink water. It's important for our survival, and it's important for life on the planet's survival.
So how old is water? Water has been around, I guess, since the creation of Earth.
It's practically as old as the Earth, not quite as old as the Earth, because the Earth was quite hot, I understand, when it was first formed. Liquid water wouldn't have been present then, but it's not far off, 4 billion years, give or take.
It's very old water.
That's very old water.
So when you talk about water as a compound, do we include that in its kind of solid, liquid and gas form?
Yes, all forms of water. So water on Earth is involved in the water cycle. So although I say that water is about 4 billion years old in total, the water goes around in an endless cycle from the land to the sea, evaporation to the atmosphere, back onto land as runoff, and then underground as groundwater again in this endless cycle. So any one of those compartments can be much shorter and is obviously involved in recycling over time.
So you mentioned about the water table and about water being with it, like dissolving minerals. So is that what mineral water is, essentially?
Mineral water is quite a loose term. Mineral water, I think, began in the days when mineralized water containing dissolved minerals came up from deep in the earth and came up along springs, and spa towns started to develop. People started to take the waters either by bathing in them or drinking them, and they were revered for their supposedly curative properties. People used to even associate them with religious beliefs and so on, so they used to revere them and hold them quite preciously. But that tradition died out in the 19th century or so. People started to bottle those waters. A few of them were bottled and distributed in bottles instead of people going to the waters. But then the bottled water industry burgeoned over the 20th century and more recently too. And so now mineral water tends to be synonymous with bottled water. And it can be mineralized or it can be non-mineralized. It can be a whole range of things. So it's just a very loose term now. I think people would generally associate mineral water with meaning something that's in a bottle. Buxton water has been studied over the years, and people think that it's extended in the past to quite deep levels, hundreds of meters deep. So it's coming up. It's quite old water, and it's been dated by carbon dating as about 5,000 years old.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So hang on, there's two things I want to follow up with there. The first one is we've got some Buxton water we're going to try later. We're going to taste test it compared to Highland Spring and compared to delicious London tap water. What happened when that water was born? Because I'm using the word born, like what's that date? What's happening at that date 5,000 years ago when we say that's when that water began, started, was formed, went to the location it is now?
That water was last in the atmosphere and it disappeared. It recharged into the aquifer and went very slowly underground to deep levels. And then it came up under pressure. And so the water that's been dated has a component of 5,000-year-old water in it.
Our sort of question for the podcast today is where in the UK has the best tasting groundwater? So when we say groundwater, I mean, how would we define groundwater compared to other sources?
Groundwater is water that is present in rocks underground. It's in the saturated zone. So water infiltrates through soil and then goes down through cracks and crevices in the rock. And then it reaches the water table, which is the top of the saturated zone there. So water that, if there's a lot of water present in that saturated zone, it's called an aquifer. It's a good water producing rock. And in England, about a third of our water supply, our drinking water supply, comes from groundwater, more in southern England, and globally, about half of drinking water supply comes from groundwater. So it's an important resource globally. And groundwater also feeds rivers and it also feeds wetlands, so it's important for ecosystems as well.
And if drinking water isn't coming from groundwater, the other source is presumably a reservoir or something like that?
Reservoir, river, yeah.
Okay.
So what minerals do you tend to find in mineral water?
The main ones are, the cations are calcium, magnesium, sodium, and to a lesser extent potassium. And the anions are bicarbonate and sulfate and chloride with a little bit of nitrate. So what is present dominantly in most water is calcium, magnesium and sodium, and bicarbonate, sulfate and chloride.
So in Iceland, I know they have a lot of geothermal and you can drink the tap water there, which is incredibly delicious. But that
not merely delicious.
I mean, I think it's incredibly
delicious.
But it smells eggy. It's got that sulfur kind of smell attached to it still, and I guess that's just what it takes from the minerals underground, and just
that's hydrogen sulfide coming from the underground below surface.
Right. Okay.
You know, you were saying about the taste and the kind of the treatment of the water with fluoride and chlorine, and that can give it a bit of a taste. But obviously in the UK, it's well known that tap water in the southeast tastes garbage. It tastes really horrible, especially if you move to the southeast from the north and you have to start drinking the tap water, which is, alas, my problem. So is that taste difference here in the UK, is that taste difference down to kind of how the water's treated, or is it to do with the source of the water and the minerals dissolved in it?
Can you define southeast?
What I'm saying is areas of the UK with hard water, which tends to be southeast.
I used to live in Oxfordshire. I don't know whether you call that southeast or south or quite where you call it, but that area takes groundwater from the chalk aquifer, and it's quite hard water. And I lived there for many years, and I really liked the taste of the water.
Really?
So I would disagree with you completely about the taste.
You're the only person I've ever spoken to who likes the taste of tap water when it's hard water. Everyone else makes dramatic yucky sounds.
Well, I'm not an expert on taste, as many of my friends would obviously tell me. Yeah, I mean, taste is subjective, isn't it? It's each to his own, and it's down to your personal preferences. And I'm not an expert on this at all, but I've done enough taste tests to believe that you like the water that you're used to drinking. If you say that people in the southeast are used to drinking water and it's horrible, then that blows my theory out of the water. But
literally,
yeah, literally.
Yeah. Talking about hard and soft water, what is hard versus soft? What's the difference there?
It's to do with the amount of calcium and magnesium in the water. So a hard water will contain a lot of calcium and magnesium, and a soft water won't. So if the calcium and the magnesium is balanced by bicarbonate, these cations against anions, then if you increase the temperature of the water, it can precipitate out calcium carbonate, and that forms a scum on your sanitary ware. It can be a fur in your kettle, can line the pipes of your hot water system. That's the difference between permanent hardness. So when you heat it, it doesn't remove the calcium and magnesium, or temporary hardness. When you heat it, it does remove the calcium and magnesium. So hard water is just water that's got a lot of calcium and magnesium in it.
Okay, so the scum you mentioned, is that like lime scale?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I just really enjoyed the casual sentence, Penny. Oh, so the scum that you mentioned really made me laugh. Shall we try some different British waters and see if we can taste the difference?
Yeah, so we'll start with Highland Spring.
I've got myself a glass of Highland Spring.
Scotland's...
The majestic landscape of Scotland's Ochil Hills. I'm really sorry if I pronounced that wrong.
If I was going to say that anywhere had majestic water, it would be Scotland, the hills of Scotland, to be honest, because it just seems like it would be a majestic place, and it rains a lot.
Ochil Hills are 400 odd million years old, and we've got equivalent age rocks in Wales and down here.
So no, it's definitely not. It's all the same, essentially. But in terms of taste, let's give this one a go. That tastes like water.
Tastes like water.
Yeah.
It tastes like water.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll taste the difference when we compare it with something else. I've never done this. I was just thinking it tastes a little bit like, almost like bitter at the end.
I'm just going to have a look at what the most expensive water is. So the Filico jewelry water is $1,390 per litre.
Wow.
The Svalbardi polar iceberg water comes in fourth at $185 per litre. So there's a real business case for water at the moment, I think. What do you think? Well, I think that these people think there is. I think you might be buying the packaging more than anything else.
You know, you talked before about mineral water starting up as this idea about health benefits. And do you think people are kind of capitalizing on that with a fancy bottle and some nice marketing? Or is there something in it? Is it worth paying £1,000 a litre for some drinking water?
They're not advertising the health benefits apart from the hydration capability. Well, of course, it's got hydration capability. It's water. But there is no health benefit in bottled water at all over and above your normal tap water. It's safe to drink, it has to be, but it has no particular health properties that it can boast. So yeah, this really expensive water is a triumph of marketing.
So Pauline, is there any time or place that you would actually drink bottled water over tap water?
The only occasions where I think I might need to use it is if I have a problem with my own water supply temporarily, or if I'm in a part of the world where I can't guarantee the quality of the tap water, I would use bottled water, yes.
But apart from that, it's tap water all the way.
Yes, I'm a great advocate of tap water in this country particularly.
Is that because that's so much of the work you and the BGS Hydro team do? Is about making sure we have secure access to water?
It's about the sustainability of water. It's about food miles. It's about single-use plastics. It's about heavy transportation of bottles and so on. It's about cost and everything else. It's about regulation. It's about the perfectly good, adequate quality of water that comes out of your tap.
You know, Penny was asking about what's going on in the Ochil Hills to make this water taste like water. Do you know what is the geology of those hills?
It's mostly volcanic rocks, mostly basic basaltic and intermediate volcanic rocks of Devonian age with some sandstones as well. So the rocks have got things like feldspars and pyroxenes and sandstones, obviously sand grains with calcite and so on. So it's a mix of things, and the water is not very mineralized. It's got quite low concentrations of dissolved solids in there, but the main solutes in Highland Spring are calcium, magnesium, and bicarbonate. Highland Spring is interesting because the upper hills are not in the highlands, and the water is not from a spring either. So,
so again, a triumph in marketing.
Where are the Ochil Hills?
on the north side of the Midland Valley.
So we should call it, instead of Highland Spring, it should be like Midland Valley Borehole.
Exactly.
It's not got the same ring to it, has it?
No, not really. Not really. Right, shall we give Buxton a go?
Oh, that does taste different.
Do you think, I was just about to say, my palate's obviously not very refined because I couldn't really tell a difference between the two.
I'm going to bounce one to the other and see what happens.
Okay.
I'm a mixologist now.
Oh, no, there is.
Yeah,
it
does.
is.
It tastes more like hard water. It does taste, it hasn't got, remember I said that Highland Spring has like a tiny, like almost bitterness. To be honest, at the end, Highland Spring tastes a bit like stone. And this doesn't have that like slight bitterness at the end. It is very slightly different, not vastly.
I think you've been taken in by this marketing.
So, which do you prefer?
Do you know what? I actually think I prefer Buxton.
No, I agree. I prefer Buxton. I think it's a bit smoother. Now, I've been to Buxton. It doesn't look like that at all.
Well, part of Derbyshire looks like that, but they're picking the right place, aren't they?
Well, yeah. I mean,
so
it's very
would
beautiful.
Buxton water be a slightly harder water then?
Buxton water is from the Carboniferous limestone. As I say, it's gone down to deep levels, but it's basically from the Carboniferous limestone, which is a limestone. So if you dissolve a limestone, you get calcium bicarbonate. It's gone somewhere deep down where there's more magnesium to pick up the magnesium as well. There's more magnesium in Buxton than you would find in a chalk groundwater, which is more or less pure calcium carbonate. So yeah, this is hard water from Buxton. I don't think it will be marketed as hard water. It is quite hard water, and it's harder than the Highland Spring water.
So Pauline's just given me another glass of something, water, obviously, but I'm not sure what's in it. It actually tastes very nice. What is it? What's the difference?
Tap water.
I was going to go with it. That'd be my favourite.
That's tap water. It's a fraction of the price.
Yeah, absolutely, and just as delicious. Has that been through the work filter though?
It has been through the filter, and it's also chilled, of course. But the temperature makes a big difference to the taste of something, doesn't it? You tend to like the taste of chilled water better than warm water. So
earlier when we were looking at fancy water brands, you read out one of them and it said, what did it say? Polar meltwater or something. But Pauline, have you seen this trend online? This rapper Ludacris went to Alaska and did a gig and said, while I'm here, I've got to drink the glacial meltwater. And then he kind of retched, and it's not that clear whether he liked it or not. But then there's a big debate online about whether you should or shouldn't drink glacial meltwater. So what's your verdict? Do you think we should be drinking water straight off a glacier?
Well, first of all, do I look like a TikTok user? But no, drinking from a glacier sounds like glacial meltwater. So it's surface water, and if it's in a strange place and you don't know what's upstream of it, I would say probably steer clear of it. I mean, it's maybe okay, probably is okay, but may not be. So is it worth the risk? So I wouldn't personally drink it.
The clip of Ludacris drinking this water, as he drank it, they had to cut the video short because he spat it out because it was so disgusting. I don't think
is that what it
very
is?
Nice.
I read somewhere else he said it tasted like God made it, but I don't know if that's true. But he said that. So that's about all we've got time for today. But obviously we have to end the podcast by asking the all-important question. Where do you think the UK's best tasting water is from?
My own opinion is my own tap water, but everybody, each to their own. You're all used to your own water, so whatever works for you.
A non-definitive answer. I like it. Rose, after all of this tasting of water, you're feeling very hydrated. Do you have an opinion?
Do you know what? I will say the tap water in London tasted extremely chlorinated when I took a swig of it after that lovely Buxton stuff. I think I'm a fan of Buxton, but in our sample of 3, I suspect we might have a bit more research to do. And I will say that London tap water tastes really good if you slap a load of squash in it like I do. Thank you so much for joining us, Pauline. It's been great having you.
Thank you. It has been, yeah.
Thank you for having me.
If we do not have vocabulary to describe water, how can we value it? How can we communicate about it? We should be looking at water in a deeper sense, like our ancestors have. Always respect our water, but then also appreciate water for its uniqueness. My name is Milin Patel. I've been a water consultant for over 20 years. So I look at how we interact with water in our built environment. Outside of my day job, I have a fascination with water and the source of water. And I've been coined as a water sommelier.
So this thing, you talk about the TDS levels, total dissolved solids.
Yeah.
Presumably that's what gives water its different taste from different places, right?
That's right. So think of TDS, total dissolved solids, as a spice rack of water. So the TDS measures the total amount of dissolved mineral salts and other tiny bits in the water, giving it its unique flavour and characteristics. It's a bit like a mineral cocktail.
Is there a distinction point at which you start calling, when it's got a certain amount of TDS that you start calling it mineral water, or is mineral water just a marketing thing?
No, so mineral water, it has to come from a natural source, which isn't modified, and it's naturally enriched with minerals to be legally called mineral water. So it must be protected, a stable source, and the minerals need to be of a consistent level.
I remember when I used to go on holiday to France when I was little, and we used to get Evian, and we used to have Badois as well, which I really liked, but I always hated Evian and thought it tasted like soap, and I still think that.
Yeah. There's a water from the Portuguese Azores called Magnificat, and it's a volcanic water. And as part of this process, it has enriched the water with amazing levels of natural silica. And also the water is infused with these champagne-like bubbles. And the water is almost like drinking silk. It is so soft and silky. It's got this really hydrophilic mouthfeel, and then you have these really light bubbles. So for those that don't like sparkling water, this could probably change their opinion on it.
I think I might have to try that water because it sounds good, and I love myself a sparkling water. So
if you head over to Tesco's or Sainsbury's, in the world food section, there's a water called Mushinyanka. I'll send you the link. It's from Poland, naturally carbonated, amazing levels of calcium, magnesium, feel good water, great for a hangover. And it's £1.20 a bottle.
Should we do some taste testing, but with a sommelier present this time, so we can do the thing properly, basically?
I'll be honest, my palate for food I think is fine. My palate for drink less so. So we'll see how we go.
Penny was rubbish at this when we tried it last time.
Well, I'm going to start with Highland, which is 170. Would you say it's a bit silky?
I was going to say, yeah, it's almost like the texture is slightly thin. And I'm still getting that bitterness. Like last time I said the end, when you swallow, you get this slight bitter aftertaste with Highland Spring, and I'm still feeling the bitterness.
Such a water overachiever, Rose.
Thank you. I'm a pro. I've done this loads of times now.
Well, yeah, apparently so. Okay, I've got Buxton this time. Buxton, I think, tastes sweeter. It's smoother
and it feels
on the palate.
Thicker. It feels more like
viscous.
That geology word. I should know this. I've got a geology degree. Should have used proper words. Right, you go Volvic now.
Actually, that tastes a lot different. I guess it's the volcanic rock.
Yeah, and part of volcanic regions, the mineral silica.
What do you think about glacial water and waters from because Was it Ludicrous that went and drank water straight from the source? And actually, I was talking to my aunt last night, and she'd just gone to Canada, and she drank glacial water. And I was like, oh, in fact, I'd said before she told me, I was like, oh, you shouldn't drink water from a glacier. It's very bad. Could have anything in it. And then she was like, I just did it. I did it a couple of weeks ago, and I'm still alive.
This is just my opinion. Drinking water from a natural source, natural spring, natural glacier. When I was in India, boreholes, some of the best tasting water that I've ever experienced. And a lot of people will be like shocked. Oh my God.
Yeah, you've had Volvic. What about parasites? Glacial parasites.
Yeah, so glacial parasites, okay, it's always a risk, but if you know, I wouldn't be drinking water further down that glacial, because there could have been a dead rabbit, a deer. So drink with caution and drink where you feel comfortable. For me, I will drink it as long as I know that I've assessed it myself.
But do you have a favourite water from the UK?
It's been sort of a massive debate, a national pastime, the North and the South. Soft water in the North, hard water in the South. It has divided us in opinions. Down south, we say the minerals are a lot good for the body, stronger bones, stronger teeth, but not so good for our kettle and washing up machines, etc. In the North and Scotland, they say it's soft, it has a sweeter orientation. And I think the main debate come around 18th, 19th century with tea. Who had the best water? And unfortunately, in the South, where we have a lot more calcium, magnesium, you get that scum layer, and it may not bring out the full flavour of the tea. While as tea brewed up north, Yorkshire and above, it's what I would consider a pretty spot on TBS for tea brewing. Hence why the flavours of the tea.
I would say that it is Yorkshire, because I am from Yorkshire and I love Yorkshire tea. So I'm sticking with the North is the better water.
The North always. Although it did turn out I like the Buxton water, which I think is slightly hard, right?
Yes.
But yeah, always Northern water for tea. Definitely. In fact, Yorkshire tea make a variety that's specifically for hard water, don't they?
Mm.
Yeah.
I've never tried it. Maybe I should.
So, did we hydrate the imagination?
My
Definitely.
imagination is way hydrated right now.
Awesome.
And I am also using that tagline for everything, always.
Brilliant.
Well, great to chat to you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Not a problem at all. Take care. Have a good
Take
day.
care. Bye.
Bye.